He's okay. He's okay. Let's see who the back shot.
Are bigger than
Good morning.
Joe or Kamala, and far more powerful than them, which is a massive, vicious, crooked, right left machine that runs today's Democrat Party. They're just vessels. In fact, they're perfect vessels because they'll never give them a hard time. They'll do whatever they want.
Here somewhere.
I know many of them. It's just this amorphous group of people.
Let's see what I
But they're
got.
smart and they're vicious. And we have to defeat them. And when I say the enemy from within, the other side goes crazy. Becomes a sound. Oh, how can he say? No, they've done very bad things to this country. They are indeed the enemy from within. But this is who we're fighting.
So, Rev, the reason why there are many who are very concerned about those comments is because Trump means what he says. When he makes a threat, he has immunity. He would be coming into a second term. And if you look at how the rise of autocrats around the world, often the second time is the charm because they have a sense of how to manage the situation and bring in sycophants, surround themselves with sycophants and not people who ultimately held the line like Mike Pence. So, with that in mind, we put that aside because
I can't use the other thing
that were made by the comedian really cut through a Puerto Rico. So unbelievably degrading this event was to immigrants and to human beings who live in this country as free American citizens or legal immigrants.
I think that was what was so striking to me is that this comedian said this early in the night, and no one got up, including Donald Trump, and denounced what he said. There was a statement released later by the campaign. How do you let someone get on the stage and say something like that, and no one defends it? As people in the audience laughed and cheered.
It cut through, didn't it?
I got calls all night because we work very closely with Puerto Rican leadership, and it reminded a lot of them of when Donald Trump was president, and there was a real big storm that had destroyed part of Puerto Rico. Right. He went down and threw towels at them. So it was consistent with what he said. But let's also go to what Donald Trump himself said last night, that some of the black men groups that I've been debating about why they can't be with Trump, he said, I could be laying out in the beach with my white skin getting tanned. I mean, this is
get him out shot.
Saying this.
Love you. Love you, my guy.
Those on the fence.
Hey, what's up?
This is not a real racial signal. My pretty, white, beautiful, white skin. Donald Trump said this last night at his homecoming. So when people said that this...
No, he's going to be saying that at his home going.
The Nazis, I think that it lived up to that.
Breakfast.
I agree with Joe, though. They cannot get comfortable on the Harris side.
Coming up, our next guest says Bill Clinton has a solution for the vice president to beat Donald Trump. Politico's Jonathan Martin explains in our fourth hour of Morning Joe.
Breakfast. That's what's going on. But please hold. Yeah, good morning, Tina. I gotta do something. Hold on for just a minute. Y'all gonna be looking at ceiling. See how is it going to go?
We all try and figure out who will be the next president of Paul and Diaz gang.
Okay. I'm doing good.
This is an important message for everyone on Medicare. Right now is the Medicare annual enrollment period, and today we are talking about Medicare Part C, commonly called Medicare Advantage. If you don't have a Medicare Part C,
What I'm doing is trying to find one of my tripods. Ooh! Hell. I was trying to find one of my tripods. The one that I always use, but I couldn't find it. What the hell did I do?
Before the end of the annual enrollment period, you don't get Medicare Part C benefits automatically. So call now for your
Okay.
2025 no obligation Medicare benefits review. Call 800-364-1630.
I gotta do it right. I gotta do it a certain way. Okay.
This is an important message for everyone on
Now we
Medicare.
got it.
Right now is the Medicare annual enrollment period, and today we are talking about
We got it.
Part C, commonly called
Water in
Medicare
here?
Advantage.
Nope, let me
If you
put some
don't have
water
a
in there.
Medicare Part C plan, call now. You may be eligible for plans in your zip code with additional benefits or cost savings. You may not be
Hold on for
receiving
just
now
a
or they may have
minute.
previously not been available to you. Different Part C plans
No, I
are
didn't have
available
that
in
thing in
different
my
parts of the
room last
country, so
night.
don't wait. Call the number on your screen now. If you're on Medicare,
Well, it's good to have a
even if you
backup.
called last year, we will check to see if there is a Part C plan available in your area with additional benefits or cost savings. Call to speak with a licensed insurance agent before the end of the annual enrollment period. You don't get Medicare Part C benefits automatically, so call now for your free 2025 no obligation Medicare benefits review. Just call 800-364-1630. 800-364-1630. Home, where routine meets remarkable, with unexpected moments of inspiration around every corner and through every window. Night mornings in the sun, with portals to new worlds, and quiet dining with a view. Your favorite studios inspired by your home, and the remarkable routine of your daily life. 3 days homes.
What's causing the rise of book bans? On my podcast, Melshi Band Book Club, I speak with authors of banned books to try and find out. Season 2 of Melshi Band Book Club, all episodes available now.
I would say to voters out there, your voice matters, your vote matters. Every election is decided by the American people. And sometimes they're decided, take Wisconsin for example, by less than 1% of the vote in the last couple of presidential cycles. So anyone who thinks their voice doesn't matter, their vote doesn't matter, it does. And in a year like this, it's especially important.
Vice President Kamala Harris spent her entire Sunday in Philadelphia making a pitch to Black and Latino voters. She visited a church, a barbershop, a bookstore, and a Puerto Rican restaurant before holding a rally at a youth basketball facility. During her address, the vice president slammed her opponent for his dark rhetoric and promised to win the election.
We have an opportunity before us to turn the page on the fear and the divisiveness that have characterized our politics for a decade because of Donald Trump. We
Get him, Kamala.
to turn the page on that same old tired playbook because we are exhausted in it.
Yeah, girl.
And we are ready to chart a
Why he
new
do
way
this
forward, and
every
yes, we will
time?
be joyful in the process.
Let's
And we got
his
9
ass.
days. 9 days. 9 days left in one of the most consequential elections of our
Oh my
lifetime.
God.
And we know this is going to be a tight race until the very end.
You listened to Glenn
We
Crack
have
last
work
night?
ahead of us. But we like hard work.
It was real good.
Hard work is joyful work. And make no mistake, we will win. We will win. We will win. For the next 9 days, no one can sit on the sidelines. There is too much on the line, and we must not wake up the day after the election and have any regrets about what we could have done in these next 9 days. We are fighting for a future of our nation where we tap into the ambitions and the aspirations and the dreams of the American people. We are a new generation of leadership that is optimistic.
You're gonna love it.
About what
You're going to love it.
together.
I'm not gonna ruin it,
And the great thing about living in
but
a
you're gonna love
democracy,
it.
as long as we keep it,
I had to leave him a comment
that
last
we,
night. I had to
the
leave him a
people,
comment.
have the power to choose the direction of our country and its leadership. The power is with the people.
The power is with the people, not one man. Rev, I'm sorry, but talk about taking you to church. Taking you to church.
He is.
That you saw.
But you're gonna love that episode. You're going to love it.
I just know one of your favorite Bible verses is weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And joy cometh in the morning to those who study to show themselves approved, a worker who's not ashamed to serve the Lord. Weeping may endure for a night.
I had to leave him a little thank you for what he did last night. I had to leave him a little thank you note.
The key word you saying is work hard, because when you see, just
Uh-huh.
imagine if you're
I had to leave him a little thank you note last night.
looking at that rally at the Gardens.
And I didn't go into full detail. I just left to thank you. Yeah, I'm on IG.
I looked at that and said I could now look at how
Can't think of my IG name right now. It's not the same. It's not the same.
That pain has to be turned into you being empowered, and that's we've got a few days.
I think I go by. Oh, I go by Punk Girl SC37. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And say the things they said. It should make you go to work, not go in your shell, right?
And you really do wonder, parents who are proud Americans, who are raising their children to be proud Americans, who are from Puerto Rico. What do they say to their children after hearing that? It really, I just makes me sad as an American that Puerto Rican parents, that Americans who are from Puerto Rico are having to talk to their children this morning before they go to school so they won't be bullied because what was said in Donald Trump's rally last night. Let's bring in managing editor at the Bull, Sam Stein, and MSNBC Tribune author, but The Right Lost Its Mind. Charlie Cypher. Charlie, your book title just says it all this morning. Again, everything that Ronald Reagan taught this Republican Party, our Republican Party, that led him to winning 49 states, that led him to a landslide victory in 1980, that allowed him to bring Americans together as he led the Reagan Revolution. All of those ideas were thrown out years ago as being irrelevant. They seem more relevant today than ever before. Because if you want to reach an older man,
he could have went on another episode about Jules. He could have. He could have.
And when it comes to immigration,
But
talking about
he did perfectly.
a country that opens its doors to the world, who still believes that it is a city shining on a hill brightly for all the world to see. That's it. Charlie. That's how we used to think when our Republican Party was our Republican Party, when it was Reagan's Republican Party.
You know, for the last 9 years, I have used that passage and read it to folks who are saying that somehow this is a continuation of conservatism or what Ronald Reagan talked about. Ronald Reagan can't even imagine those words being spoken in Madison Square Garden last night. You can't even imagine any speaker saying anything remotely like that. Now, you asked an interesting question. What do the parents of Puerto Rican children tell their children about what they heard last night? What does any parent tell any child about the kind of hate and vulgarity and offensiveness and racism and insults that you heard last night? This is a hell of a closing argument that we're seeing right now, and I hope that we don't get numb to it, because what you saw last night was not a disciplined or a coherent campaign. This is Donald Trump's id, and we need to take that both literally and seriously. The threats he's making, the insults, the culture he's created, and I guess that's really what struck me. And to Mika's point, you know, that after 9 years he has created a political culture where you can fill Madison Square Garden with people who listen to that and say, yeah, that's the message I like. 47% of Americans. Yes, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the mass deportations. I'm okay with the attacks on Latinos and Puerto Ricans and Jews and, talking about pimps and the attacks on Kamala Harris. I mean, this is a dark moment that we have right now, but I'm really glad that you're playing kind of the split screen of the closing arguments of the two campaigns, because I don't think the contrast could be much starker.
So Sam, let's talk a bit more about Kamala Harris and what she has to do, because a lot of time gets spent speaking about Donald Trump, and indeed she spends a lot of time speaking about Donald Trump as well. She's got this big speech on the ellipse tomorrow night, on Tuesday night, a week out from the election. And the choice, I guess, for her campaign that they have to make is how much of this time is spent, as they have done over the last week or so, directing some of the message to Donald Trump and the threat that he poses, and how much of it is spent on her agenda and what she would offer to Americans. I know there's some debate within the campaign about the balance that is right for that. What are you expecting from tomorrow night?
Yeah, there is debate in the campaign. Obviously, she's leaning more heavily to the Trump contrast in recent days and weeks. I think part of that is because, frankly, it's been presented to her on a tee, right? When Trump says the enemy within, he references Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff. When John Kelly says, yeah, he's fascistic. When we get these anecdotes about his praise of Hitler's generals. I mean, how do you not swing at that pitch, right? At the same time, if you look at any of the ad data and what they're running television ads on, it's pretty much economic focused and stuff like that, trying to sell her in an affirmative sense. So it's more of an either and, not an either or. Tomorrow night, I think she's going to make the contrast, and the key, I suppose, for her is the setting is the ellipse, right? Like the setting is, this is where Donald Trump incited the insurrection on January 6th. That's not accidental. They want to have that contrast. The question she has is, can she tie that contrast into an affirmative case for her campaign? Can she say to the voters, look, this is why that you have to vote for me, because, these are the things at stake, and I can do X, Y, and Z. Let me just add one thing. I know the question was everything's about Trump, and we should talk about Harris. I do need to say that to Charlie's point, Tanika's point, the thing, and this is something for Harris to consider too, tomorrow night, or Tuesday night, yeah. The thing that was striking about yesterday, to me, was what wasn't there, which was 4 years ago, if Trump had held a rally in Madison Square Garden, I suspect there would have been a huge backlash in New York City, counter-protests, anger, things in the street. Nothing there. Nothing didn't happen last night. Leading up to the rally, what we saw, in fact, was CEOs have warmed up to Trump. A major publisher of a newspaper, Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, pulled the endorsement. The people who are the guardrails, or would have been the guardrails in past runs, are not there right now. And I think for Harris, on Tuesday night, that is a point she can make, which is, look, we are the guardrails. This is it. And Trump is talking about enemies within. He's talking about using the military against American citizens. If we vote for this, he will have the license to do it because he ran on it and we voted for it. That's his mandate. And she can make that case tomorrow night. I think that might be effective.
Coming up inside the Washington Post's decision to stay silent on the presidential race. Why the paper's owner, Jeff Bezos, pulled the plug on issuing White House endorsements. CNBC's Andrew Ross Sorkin digs into that.
That's right, Jeff Bezos owns the New York Post.
For people who feel limited by the unpredictability of generalized myasthenia gravis and who are anti-ACHR antibody positive, season to season, Ultomiris is continuous symptom control with improvement in activities of daily living.
Hey, Jules is not going to have a good day today. I'll tell you that. She is not going to have a good day.
6 to 7 infusions per year.
She's going to go over what Glenn Crack said yesterday, last night. So it should have been a part 2.
If Ultomiris is urgent, you should also receive antibiotics with your vaccines. Before starting Ultomiris, tell your doctor about all of your medical conditions.
To a
and
deep
medications.
dive
Ultomiris
of
can cause reactions
Jules.
such as
It
back pain,
should have been a
tiredness,
part
dizziness,
two.
sweat discomfort, or backaches.
But that's okay.
Ultomiris
I'm hoping for a part two because you know Savage
Starting
wants in on it. Come on, Savage.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, so I saved hundreds. With the money I saved, I get a wax figure of myself. Oh, right in the temporal lobe. Beat it, punks! Only pay for what you need.
I was sick of what else I got to take. Got to get my vitamins out.
Sure, with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health.
But I do thank you, Glenn Crap, for mentioning my video. One of my videos. I do want to thank you.
Comfort and softness. This is why we make the best socks and slippers in the history of Visit Bombas.com.
Yeah, I gotta order some more of these coming up.
Create a website. How? No data. Coding? Nah. But all that writing? Nope. AI. Done.
I don't have that just yet. Well, keep on looking.
Website in minutes with GoDaddy. Doctors recommend Colay stool softener for gentle, dependable relief from constipation.
I won't get that till tomorrow.
Doctors even recommend during pregnancy and after surgery. Colay increases water in the stool, making it softer so it's easier to go. No harsh laxatives, cramping or straining. Colays.
One of my favorite supplements is Qunol turmeric. Turmeric helps with healthy joints and inflammation support. And Qunol has the #1 doctor recommended form of turmeric. Qunol, the brand I trust.
Did you know let's put a fun refrigerated pouches, a phone bag, a packed ingredients?
I did.
They use pineapples, bananas.
Oh, don't forget dragon fruit.
Yes,
You're really good at that.
they got sugar, GMOs, or potatoes.
Once kids try one to perform, they won't stop talking about all the goodness you put inside.
Avocado, flaxseed, carrot, and banana.
Menopause was hell. I really saw someone who I didn't recognize from the mood swing, and I had terrible hot flushes, probably dozens a day. After I found Alloy, I felt a huge sense of relief. Alloy offers science-backed menopause treatments delivered to your door. With medication and expert doctor care, 95% of women felt relieved within 2 weeks. Alloy has been completely game-changing. Find relief at myalloy.com. After Homoglow cleaned our place for $19, we fired our old housekeeper. Homoglow tackled everything from our kitchen to our
That was
bathroom,
rough.
all our laundry. You just pick a date, pick a cleaner, and enjoy a spotless house for $19. Coming up, while Donald Trump was in New York City, Kamala Harris was in Pennsylvania. We'll go live to Philadelphia for the very latest on the state of the race and that key battleground when Morning Joe comes right back.
I've been uploading shorts all day yesterday, so
This week on Shoe.
not pretty much all day yesterday. I know I did about 4.
For food they devour.
Not sure.
And prices everyone feels strongly about. For low prices. For holidays with pets, here's Chewy.
Heather likes things smooth, so she thinks her well to start losing weight with GLP-1s. Now she's on her way to losing 20% of her weight in a year with diet and exercise.
Now that's smooth.
We got you, Heather. Connect with a provider at road.co/TV.
Mommy, the Medicare annual enrollment period is now. You may benefit from a Medicare Advantage plan. You could be missing out on the benefits that you may need. Why don't you call it in?
Gracias por llamar a Anhelo. How can I help you?
Look, they speak English y español.
Claro. En Anhelo, our licensed
Gracias.
agents can help you in both languages. Allow me to review the options available in your area and help you find a Medicare Advantage plan that fits your budget and your needs. Many Medicare Advantage plans offer low
And this coffee is
monthly premiums
strong.
and may include
include additional benefits such as routine dental, vision, hearing, or prescription drug coverage.
Anhelo ayuda a beneficiarios de Medicare como tú a encontrar planes de Medicare Advantage con compañías como Humana, Aetna, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Cigna Healthcare o Kaiser Permanente. ¿Qué esperas?
Call 800-683-4931. That's 800-683-4931. 800-683-4931. Call now.
Ever worry that you're drinking too much? Take back control with Or Health. Or Health provides access to medication proven to help. A daily pill to drink less, or to quit drinking altogether. Qualify for treatment at orhealth.com.
Can you believe this? Doug Moody and Frank Thomas. You guys look great. Once I turn 40,
Let me guess, less energy, less drive.
definitely.
It's not your fault. It happens to every man. Testosterone levels drop as you age.
Happened to you guys?
Yeah.
So what did you do?
We got Genix Total T.
To get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, text
But I believe that's what my IG name is.
369. This unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testosterone, a key ingredient clinically researched to help increase testosterone levels.
That does. I gotta give you Genix. Just send a text for a complimentary bottle. And by the way, she'll like it too.
Get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix now. Text ATTRACT to 369-369. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo.
But he mentioned Sophie, he mentioned Cooch.
Absolutely free. That's ATTRACT to 369-369.
But there was a lot of others that he could have mentioned, but I'm okay. I'm okay. I am so okay with that.
Our Decision 2024 team will provide insight as results come in.
The stakes could absolutely not be higher.
And the next day, Morning Joe will give you perspective on what it all means for the future of our
Trump out! What's going on, Kamala?
on MSNBC. The 2024 election is here. MSNBC has the in-depth analysis you need, which will matter when our Decision 2024 team will provide insight as results come in. Coverage begins Tuesday, November 5th at 6 on MSNBC.
More than ever, dialogue is everything. More than ever, questions require follow-up questions. More than ever, numbers must be crunched, dots must be connected, and steady voices must break through the noise. Because more than ever, it's go time. The new Apple TV Plus series Disclaimer is the first TV project from five-time Oscar-winning filmmaker Alfonso Cuarón. It stars Kate Blanchett as an esteemed journalist whose life is upended by a secret from her past. Writer-director Cuarón and the cast joined Morning Joe to discuss the seven-part mystery drama.
You keep everyone in the dark to maintain a balance. And you think you have succeeded.
Catherine, stop now! Catherine!
It's about me.
Destiny doesn't look.
She's outwardly successful in an outwardly happy marriage, and she's a documentary journalist who is a bastion of truth and authenticity and integrity, and is used to exposing the hypocrisy of others. And this book, this pulpy novel, arrives on her doorstep just the night after she receives an award for her documentary work. And that book appears to be about a very cataclysmic event that happened to her 20 years prior. The more we try to bury the past, the more it will come and return like a tsunami, an emotional tsunami. And that's what happens to her. And the book gets sent to everybody. And of course, the big interesting thing about Catherine is that she hasn't had a chance to fully know who she is in the same way that the audience doesn't know.
You know what? She died! It's pretty enjoyable too. She deserved it. She was a selfish.
Writer director Alfonso Cuarón explores the show's decades-old mystery through the different perspectives of each character, leaving it to the audience to form their own opinions.
Everything that we were describing throughout the first 6 chapters was actually truth that we were not misleading audiences. So there was a constant revisiting of the script, and as Kate was diving deeper and deeper into her character, because we shot in continuity, there were new inspirations. I don't think I have ever had any closer collaboration with an actor, but I'm talking from the standpoint of the overall process. From the moment that Kate decided to do this, she was a constant collaborator for the transformations in the script, the new drafts that we did.
I knew that woman. I'd known her name for years. But until then, I had thought she was just an innocent bystander in my life's demise.
Actress Layla George depicts Blanchett's journalist in flashbacks, revealing the secrets that haunt her in the present.
She's just a very complex character, and there's a couple of different sides to her that jumping between those versions of her, sometimes in the same day, sometimes in the same morning, and figuring out how I was going to do that in a way that didn't take any time. There's something about being able to watch and study these great actresses and just attempt to kind of do them justice. It's terrifying, but also such a huge honor.
There were friends at Cambridge. I've got a number for him. There's no story. Just leave it. But should I give him a call? Oh, geez, Sue, I said there's no story.
Actress Hoyan performs alongside Blanchett and found Cuarón's ambitious project both challenging and rewarding.
What I loved was the director. He prefers to take long master takes. It was challenging, but these challenging experiences, I felt that they helped me grow as an actor.
You don't deserve us. The world needs to know who Catherine Reynolds really is. The world needs to know the truth.
Often when we experience something that we don't deal with and not allowed to deal with, or
Let's see, who else did he talk
very
about?
estranged from
They
ourselves.
brought
And I think
out.
she's somebody, as a lot of
No, that was it.
when you don't want to look at things in your own life, you bury yourself in the lives of others.
Chapter 6 of Disclaimer is streaming this Friday on Apple TV+. The series finale is on November 8th. And coming up, our next guest represents a key battleground in next week's election. From the state of Michigan, Senator Gary Peters is standing by. He joins the conversation straight ahead on Morning Joe.
Look at this city little sailboat. These men of means with their silver spoons eating up the financial fairness of the 1%. What would become of them when they discover Robin Hood Gold allows others to earn their very liberal rates on idle cash, unlimited deposit bonuses, and handsome retirement dashing? They would descend into chaos. Merciless chaos.
I'm a lifelong Republican, and I voted for Trump twice, but I can't do it again. Trump wants a national sales tax on imported goods. It'll make everything more expensive for regular people, all while giving tax breaks to billionaires. Kamala Harris is for regular people. She wants a tax cut for 100 million Americans, so we keep more of our hard-earned money. I'm a proud Republican, but this year, I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
I am a strong Democrat, and I'm still voting for Kamala Harris.
These past few days have been a whirlwind.
That's,
There's so much to arrange.
just look at my short that I did with Stone Cold Steve Austin
Good thing you
in
know
it.
about those policies. I had
To
no idea
all
how
the
expensive
Trump
all this would be.
supporters.
I know. I didn't want to talk about
I
it.
don't care
I'm
what
glad
you
she
think.
made us do it.
And the payment is on the way already. It really was as fast as they said.
Your mother always made sure we were prepared.
I can't believe you both were able to qualify with your health issues.
That's why we chose United of Omaha Life Insurance Company. There were no health questions.
So it's NFL Monday Night Football. Who you with? Who you with? Come on. Who you with? I'm so glad that Green Bay beat the brakes off of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Even though, Tony Khan, I know you own that team, and I'm so sorry. But you got a player on that team that I cannot stand. Trevor Lawrence.
I didn't think you would be able to get a life insurance
I don't
policy on
like
your
him.
fixed income.
With United
Why?
Overall,
Because he
policy
played for
started at
Clemson.
$6,038 a month.
Okay?
Run guarantee? My rate is locked in.
Would have been different if he played for Carolina. Go Cox, go. But he didn't.
Have you helped prepare your family to pay for these expenses when you're gone? With one call.
He played for the sucky team upstate.
You qualify for up to $25,000 in life insurance coverage.
Just like your mom. Take care of us even after she's gone.
Help take care of your loved ones after you're gone with a guaranteed acceptance life insurance policy.
And the concert for Carolina that they had Saturday night at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, it's so amazing. $24.5 million was raised for Western North Carolina. I think it was, the stadium was packed to the max. But that's how much money they raised in that one event. It was $24.5 million. So even though I'm not from Western North Carolina, we are Carolina. To Eric Church and Luke Combs, y'all did a great job representing your state, representing the love for your state of North Carolina.
Helping millions of people reduce sugar from their diets. Now try a sweetener grown by
And you know when James Taylor got on there when he said Carolina in my mind, oh Lord, you know that was probably not a dry eye in the stadium. In my mind, I'm going to Carolina. You know he sung all his classic songs that night. Rockabye, sweet baby James. Oh, I seen fire and I seen rain. I seen sunny days that I thought would never end.
But for Trump, we expect nothing at all.
Do it, Michelle.
No ability to put together a coherent argument.
Amen.
No honesty.
Amen.
No morals.
Amen.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama campaigning over the weekend with Vice President Kamala Harris questioning why Harris is being held to such a higher standard than Donald Trump. Welcome to the fourth hour of
Exactly.
Why?
Why?
West Coast, 9 a.m. in the East. Jonathan Lemire still with us, of course, as the former First Lady helped Kamala Harris make her closing argument to voters in Michigan. Former President Donald Trump held a rally at New York's Madison Square Garden last night that included dark and racist messaging from a number of featured speakers. We have two reports for you this morning, starting with NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez.
Please put that nail in that coffin for him while you're at the...
Harris sets up Barnstorm Battleground, Michigan, where early voting kicked off Saturday, and more than 1.5 million people have already cast their ballots. Harris rallying in the state on Saturday, joined for the first time on the campaign trail by Michelle Obama, the former First Lady, addressing voters, especially men, with a message on reproductive rights.
I recognize that there are a lot of angry, disillusioned people out there. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage.
Thank you. Thank you.
You as men prepared to look into the eyes of the women and children you love and tell them that you supported this assault on our safety?
The Harris campaign continuing that focus after a massive rally Friday in Ruby Red, Texas, with superstar Beyonce.
We must vote. And we need you. It's time to sing a new song.
On Sunday, the Vice President crisscrossing Philadelphia.
I so strongly believe that our campaign in this fight really is not against something, it's for something.
Also preparing to deliver her closing argument in a primetime speech tomorrow from the Ellipse, in the shadow of the White House, the same place where former President Trump spoke ahead of the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
He is full of dark language that is.
Oh, I would have come up with some language, you know. I mean, it would have been YouTube, YouTube only. This piece of shit right here. I would have said it.
Overnight at New York's Madison Square Garden. The former president introduced by his wife Melania, lashing out at his political rival Kamala Harris with personal attacks.
Everyone knows she is a very low IQ individual.
Mr. Trump repeating his recent attacks on Democrats.
They are indeed the enemy from within.
But the rally took a dark and divisive tone long before Trump himself took the stage. Comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, the opening speaker, cracking a racist joke about Latinos. So vulgar, it's mostly unairable.
You can.
They love making babies, too. Just know.
Oh.
They do. They do. There's no...
Oh.
They don't do that. They
into our country. Then pivoting to Puerto Rico.
There's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now.
Oh no.
I think it's called Puerto Rico.
That joke, not just offensive, but potentially politically unwise, too, with large populations of Puerto Rican voters spread out across the swing states, including more than 400,000 in Pennsylvania alone. The Trump campaign responding to the comedian's set, which included other racist attacks, say this joke does not reflect the views of President Trump or the campaign.
No, but he approved of that shit.
Host Sid Rosenberg on Hillary Clinton.
What a sick son of a...
Many targeting Harris.
Her and her pimp handlers will destroy our country.
Oh, fuck you.
She is the Antichrist.
Tucker Carlson also attacking the vice president, who is Indian American and black.
The first Samoan Malaysian low IQ former California prosecutor ever to be elected president.
As the speakers rallied the crowd.
And Tucker Carlson, this is why Fox News don't want a damn thing to do with you.
And Trump delivered his closing message.
Your dumb ass on Newsmax. And this is why I don't like that channel neither. God damn. You don't see how fast I could click through a damn channel if I see Newsmax, oh motherfucker.
Okay, that's NBC. Scared hate for that report. Let's bring in now senior political columnist for Politico, Jonathan Martin, has led his piece for Politico.
No, let's bring in Al Sharpton. Come on, Al, let's go.
Take down Trump, and White House correspondent for Politico and co-author of the playbook, Eugene Daniels.
Oh, you got to be a dumb... Y'all got to be some dumb motherfuckers.
First of all, goodness, we've both been in politics for a very long time. That is not like the closing statement to bring people together, talking about Puerto Ricans, Puerto Rico being a floating pile of trash. And again, as I've said before, this rally went on for hours, and nobody called out that language.
Oh, I'll call them out. Fuck it.
Kamala Harris, Antichrist, and this was my favorite. That she has a low IQ. We heard that throughout the evening. How fascinating. She has a low IQ, and yet she beat Donald Trump so badly in the debate that he's afraid to debate her again.
Yeah.
60 minutes, he didn't. We could go on and
She
on.
beat his ass so bad.
Man, maybe you can explain it to me, but when you're in a tight race, when you get swing states, when you're trying to bring everybody together on your side during this home stretch, they seem to be going out of their way to insult people. And I'm not shocked. They want us to be shocked. I'm just not shocked. This is who they are. I just don't understand the political strategy. This seems to be like long old reference. Jim Marshall picking up a fumble for the Vikings and running 85 yards.
Why the fuck if he mentioned the Vikings?
Yeah, the only rationale, and look, I don't want to give them too much credit. The only rationale that I can see is putting bait out there to somehow try to distract Harris in the final week. But I still think.
But Tina,
it's
listen
obviously
to
a negative.
Glenn
So
Crack.
for precisely the reason you just mentioned,
Listen to the
because
latest
there's a chunk of voters left in this country
episode
that cannot
of
stand Donald Trump, but they're
Glenn
not sure
Crack's
about voting for
podcast.
Kamala Harris because of her
You'll
politics
love
or
it.
because of inflation.
You
And
will
they don't
love
want to
it.
vote for Trump, but can they get there for Harris? If they see that rally and that kind of bile, I think that's a huge turnoff. And I think, look, this is a sort of centrist country.
The Democrats don't want me up there, and the Republicans are scared to death of me.
I think is a huge turnoff.
We're going to put it like that.
Evidence of what I just said. The whole Trump theory of the case in politics.
Because I would call every one of my states Republicans. I would call them all out. We're going to start with Lindsey Graham. You know you cheated. And there's something sweet about you, honey.
Throw a speaker under the bus like that, which tells me they obviously know they created a problem last night.
Well, J-Mark, though, here's the crazy thing.
And does everyone know? Now, this is whenever Obama was in office, and he took the first televised State of the Union. You remember
this was a firestorm.
a person shouted, "You lied."
Basically calling Puerto Ricans trash, and yet
Well, that's Joe Wilson. Joe Wilson is from South Carolina. I kind of got respect from him for his son, Alan Wilson, because he's fighting human trafficking here in South Carolina. I kind of have respect for him on that term. But the fact that your daddy is Joe Wilson, that was a no-no.
That's going to decide 270 electoral votes, and there's a large Puerto Rican community in Philadelphia and Allentown, Pennsylvania, and again, a lot of those folks.
I think I'm going to Allentown.
Trump, especially working class men, and you then give them these kind of comments in the final 10 days of the election. Boy, I mean, if that's not going to move votes in that community, I'm not sure what will, Joe.
Yeah, Jonathan Lear, one other thing, too, and again, let me say this for the 8,000th time. This race is tied. Anything can happen. We don't know who's going to win this race. You go swing state by swing state. Right now, the only thing I would be comfortable saying is that Donald Trump is outperforming himself in the Sunbelt states. Those polls, though, are all within the margin of error. Kamala Harris still in most of the blue wall states up north is doing better, again, according to these polls, and the Sunbelt state. We don't know, though, the modeling inside the campaign. The Trump campaign was absolutely certain that 77 million votes was going to get him a victory 4 years ago. They were shocked that Biden, beat them as badly as he did. But as they go for older voters, their theory of the case is Trump's going to win because we're going to get younger men voting for us.
What?
Right? Okay, maybe they will. But the fact is that if they're calling Puerto Ricans trash and they're calling Kamala Harris an antichrist and they're making statements that in past times would be deeply offensive to the overwhelming majority of Americans. Again, it's the politician in me, and maybe the rules have changed. But if I'm running this race, I'm not thinking about the younger men who will be turned on by racist language. I'm worried about the older men in Wisconsin, the older men in Michigan, the older men in Pennsylvania who grew up believing in this country, grew up believing in this government, grew up believing that Churchill was the good guy in World War II and Hitler was the bad guy in World War II, and didn't believe that historians that said the opposite were the quote only honest historian. But this is turning everything we have thought
upside down on as far as how you close a campaign. And if I'm running, I'm worried about older voters. I'm worried about women. I'm worried about people who have a high propensity to go out to the polls. And the final week of the campaign, I'm worried about swing voters. I'm worried about independents. And everything that I've seen over the past 2 weeks from this campaign seems to fly in the face of 60 years of political rules.
Oh,
So you're
boy.
certainly right. The Trump campaign is betting on this time around. It's about young men who have never voted before. That's who they think they can turn out for this election. Well, those aren't very reliable voters, obviously. Look, Trump, he turned out low propensity voters in 2016 and 2020. He's trying to do so again. It's even harder this time around, but you can see the focus there with the bro podcasters, Elon Musk, the vile rhetoric last night. That's who this is aimed at. But there is a cost, as you say. And Eugene Daniels, there are two groups that I know the Harris campaign is really trying to quietly work here. One, Joe just mentioned, this is the idea of older voters, seniors, who the democracy argument really resonates with them. We saw that with Joe Biden, and we're seeing Vice President Harris close with that now. They think that'll matter. They also think one of their better accomplishments is lowering the price of prescription drugs. That also matters for seniors, and particularly in those 3 blue wall states, they believe. And then, of course, there is women, and they believe that they think quietly voting for Kamala Harris, maybe not even telling their husbands or boyfriends, they who might be voting for Donald Trump, but voting for Harris because of abortion rights and because of decency.
Yeah,
Should I be loud saying I'm voting for Harris? Hell yeah. I'll be loud. I'll be loud. I'll be proud.
What you just said. When they talk about abortion as a #1 issue, that goes across gender, that goes across race, that goes across socioeconomic status, that goes across region, right? When they looked at the numbers, I did a story recently with our colleague Megan Messerly. We did a story in the run-up to Harris's Texas rally. What the Harris campaign says is in their numbers, in their internal numbers, what they're seeing is that women without a college degree, white women without a college degree, are a large reason why Trump has seen a bit of an erosion with.
Hey, Trump, try to grab me by the pussy unless, you want to get shot by Smith & Wesson. Go ahead.
We're going to keep doing what we're doing, and what the Trump campaign.
You're messing with danger. You're messing with danger.
Right, last night was a gift because
let's not forget, ladies, what he said in 2016 on that tour bus with Billy Bush. In order to get women's attention, he can grab them by the balls. Grab them by the pussy. Bitch, you wouldn't make it. You wouldn't make it. To all the young voters out there, that's what he said in 2016.
So, I want to talk about the two prevailing factors.
And I have a right to speak up.
Here's Kamala Harris.
I have a right to vote.
We have an opportunity before us to turn the
My rights matter. Everybody's rights matter.
that have characterized our politics for a decade because of Donald Trump. We have the ability to turn the page on that same old tired playbook because we are exhausted with it.
Thank you. Thank you, oh Lord.
And we are ready to chart a new way forward. And yes, we will be joyful in the process.
When we fight, we win.
Billy, we've got 9 days. 9 days. 9 days left in one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime. And we know this is going to be a tight race until the very end. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. But we like hard work.
Yes, we do.
Good work. Hard work is joyful work.
Amen.
Make no mistake, we will win.
Amen.
We will win. For the next 9 days, no one can sit on the sidelines. There is too much on the line, and we must not wake up the day after the election and have any regrets about what we could have done in these next 9 days. We are fighting for a future of our nation where we tap into the ambitions and the aspirations and the dreams of the American people. We are a new generation of leadership that is optimistic and excited about what our nation can do together. And the great thing about living in a democracy, as long as we keep it, is that we, the people, have the power to choose the direction of our country and its leadership. The power is with the people.
So that was Kamala Harris. There are two prevailing issues playing out right now in the final days toward Election Day. The first is that women in this country are Exhibit A of Trump's America, of what is happening right now because of Donald Trump. One tiny example amid a sea of horrific stories is a woman bleeding out so bad, but yet turned away from the ER when she needed health care for a miscarriage, for symptoms of a miscarriage. A woman, that woman, bleeding out so badly she's passed out, being dragged to the hospital by her husband. That woman bleeding out so bad that she had to prove to the hospital that she was bleeding out to the point where she was dying enough to receive care. Michelle Obama spoke to these issues as well as the double standard playing out between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris in this election. Take a listen to Michelle Obama over the weekend.
So to the men who love us, let me just try to paint a picture of what it will feel like if America, the wealthiest nation on earth, keeps revoking basic care from its women, and how it will affect every single woman in your life. Your daughter could be the one too terrified to call the doctor if she's bleeding during an unexpected pregnancy. Your niece could be the one miscarrying in her bathtub after the hospital turned her away. You will be the one praying that it's not too late. You will be the one pleading for somebody, anybody, to do something. And then there is the tragic but very real possibility that in the worst case scenario, you just might be the one holding flowers at the funeral. You might be the one left to raise your children alone. So I am asking y'all from the core of my being to take our lives seriously.
Amen.
Please. Mostly men who have no clue or do not care about what we as women are going through, who don't fully grasp the broad-reaching health implications that their misguided policies will have on our health outcomes. The only people who have standing to make these decisions are women with the advice of their doctors. We are the ones with the knowledge and experience to know what we need. So please, please, do not hand our fates over to the likes of Trump, who knows nothing about us, who has shown deep contempt for us. Because a vote for him is a vote against us, against our health, against our work.
That event was in Kalamazoo, Michigan on Saturday. More than 1.7 million residents in that state have already cast their ballot. That breaks down to more than 1.5 million done absentee ballot, and over 200,000 have voted earlier in person. The second prevailing factor in this election is democracy. And I understand for many voters, it might be harder to comprehend, especially the concept of what is happening at, for example, the rally at Madison Square Garden. What we're seeing play out before our eyes is the normalization of disinformation, the normalization of lies, the normalization of violent events like January 6th, calling it a day of love, the normalization of threatening your enemies, threatening to use the military against your enemies, the normalization of fancying Hitler and wanting his generals, the normalization of calling people who died for our country suckers and losers. Trump Republicans are allowing a descent into fascism by not standing up. Where is the moment? Like right after January 6th, when Lindsey Graham said, "I'm out." And then he backed down. He said he was out, but he backed down. Where is Mitch McConnell?
Where's Lindsey Graham now? Where's that motherfucker? We all want his ass.
The normalization.
We want his ass. None of us could stand him. Come on.
That is what happens when fascism takes over, and that is what they are attempting to carry out. So the question is, in these final hours, are voters going to take these warnings seriously? Because many think it can't happen, it's not possible, that it doesn't mean it. Are voters going to take it seriously when he says what he's going to do? I go back to abortion and look at the women who are suffering today and ask you, don't take what they're going through in vain? Please believe him. Joining us now, Democratic Senator Gary Peters of Michigan. He is chairman of the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, as well as the chair of the Senate Homeland Security Committee. Your thoughts on this election and the very, very stark difference between the closing arguments that are playing out right now?
You're absolutely right. The stark differences are very clear to everybody. You know, I was in Kalamazoo for that rally. I can tell you Democrats are very fired up. They understand what is on the ballot, the stakes of this election. But right now it's incumbent on making sure just everybody gets out to vote and also talk to their friends. Right now, the most powerful advocate for us are going to be friend discussions where people talk about why it's important. Stories that women have, for example, that you have mentioned that have gone through some horrible situations, not getting reproductive health. We're seeing that in states all across the country. You know, I've been working on these Senate races. Kamala Harris clearly to move the agenda forward that we all want her to move, and she's passionate about moving. Requires having a team on the field, and that means a majority in the United States Senate. We are very close. All of our races are also in the margin of error. It's going to be the amount of effort that we put forward over these next few days. And so I'm encouraging everyone, please volunteer, talk to your friends, get out. We're also have a pickup opportunity, and talking about a state right now who's experiencing firsthand the horrors of what the Republicans have done in terms of taking away rights for women. It's the state of Texas. And right now we have Colin Allred coming very close to defeating Ted Cruz. And we know in Texas...
Oh, come on, get Ted Cruz out there, man. I'm not from Texas, but when I think of that name, hey, Joe, you got to go to Cancun, Ted. Come on.
Is electing Kamala Harris, but we're also going to need a majority in the United States.
Ain't you got to go to Cancun?
Right now, all of our races are in the margin.
Well, your state was freezing. Had an ice storm. You and your wife and your kids decided to pack up and go to Cancun. Oh, you just left Texas behind. Come on, Teddy boy.
Well, I think Kamala Harris is making that closing argument, and it's about making sure people know that she is on their side, that she has a record of fighting for folks. You know, people are dealing with issues of higher grocery prices and economic issues. Kamala Harris actually has a plan to deal with that and can make a meaningful difference. It's also important for her to make sure that she lets folks know that she's about unions, about supporting unions. We're a big union state. Donald Trump is never supported union members. In fact, I'm going to be with Vice President Harris today at a union training facility in Macomb County, a key part of our state, many swing voters, but a very large union membership in that county as well. And Kamala's actually walked the walk. She's been on picket lines. She has fought for unions. She's fighting for the PRO Act so people can collectively come together and organize, form a union, and then bargain for fair wages. And we know when unions.
Oh, and let's not forget about our state.
Class is strong.
Our state is not even perfect.
Those victories tend to
Mark
the
Sanford.
entire economy and everybody's wages go up. And people
Okay.
in Michigan understand that.
Let me fix me another cup of coffee. I'm going to give y'all a little geography lesson on the Appalachian Trail. Okay? All right. Just home. Home, please.
Good to see you. One of the questions that your colleagues in the Senate, but also Democrats writ large have had for a while is the balance between democracy and the economy, talking about those things in equal measure or more than one, depending on where you are. I'm curious, one, if you think that Vice President Harris needed to do that, and two, if she does.
Created the vibrant middle class. They also created a very vibrant democracy. You could see those folks in power held in check. You could speak truth to power. We can't have an oligarch. Donald Trump is in that class. He's already said that he's going to support huge billions. He did it before. He's going to do it again. He's already done that. He's not about everyday working people. He's not about making sure that people, for example, get paid overtime when they work on overtime. That's a huge economic issue for people. And Donald Trump has not supported credit check on billionaires. This economy is not going to work for everyday Americans. These two are absolutely linked. Kamala Harris is making the connection. Our Senate candidates across the country are making that connection, and the American people have to understand if we lose our democracy, this is not going to be good for the economy for everyday workers.
Well, and that's an important message for everybody, whether you're somebody that's just getting to the workforce or whether you are one of those billionaires.
I found what I was looking for earlier.
A vibrant democracy, a strong and vibrant economy. And in fact, the economists who won the Nobel Prize for economics this past year.
Let's go ahead. Let's rearrange this because I don't care about this anymore.
Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. Jonathan Mark, you got a great column, great article about Bill Clinton, who in 1992, Republicans were going after him nonstop. The way he brushed off the attack against his past,
honey.
he said,
We're going this way. And that's not my bread. My bread's in the refrigerator. But there we go. I like this one better. I know that I got one more vitamin I got to take.
Fascinating statement.
Ashley Gummy.
Bill Clinton and what he thinks Democrats need to be doing.
They care more about my past than your future. You got to do it at half speed, Joe. You got to slow it down to South Arkansas speed, man. Look, I spent time with the former president last weekend. I did 5 stops with him across eastern North Carolina, which was, as you know, Joe, kind of the epicenter of the Jesse Helms base in North Carolina. Very,
Okay, I'm going to give y'all a little history lesson on the Appalachian Trail. The Appalachian Trail begins in Georgia, northern part of Georgia, and it goes all the way up to Maine. Who knew that there was a secret Appalachian Trail that begins in Georgia and goes all the way up to Brazil? Well, Mark Sanford told a lie where he was for 3 days straight, leaving South Carolina vulnerable for anything and everything that could happen by saying he was on the Appalachian Trail. News came out later on that he was in Brazil with his mistress. Jenny found out, his now ex-wife, his ex-wife now, found out, divorced his ass, and took his 2 his two boys.
Everywhere.
I believe he took, I believe they got joint custody. They had joint custody of the two boys. Well, a few years ago, he dumped the mistress on Twitter, which is now X. Ain't you a fucking bitch? You fucking cunt.
That's the thing. You can do two things at once. You can talk about the bombast. You can talk
And that, my friends, is the history on the Appalachian Trail.
The danger to people's pocketbook if we lose some of the basic foundations of our
And that's my
economy,
story, and I'm sticking to it.
our constitutional republic.
Absolutely. White House correspondent for Politico, Eugene Daniels, thank you as well. And coming up, the billionaire owner of the Washington Post continues to face criticism after his paper announced it will not make a presidential endorsement. The same day executives from his aerospace company met with Donald Trump. We'll dig into the latest on the controversy surrounding Jeff Bezos. Plus, actors Kira Sedgwick and Adam Brody join us next to talk about what they're doing to help get Democrats elected this year. You're watching Morning Joe. We'll be right back.
Let's get AOC. Come on. Alexandria
Insanity.
Cortez.
Over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing. Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Fuck you, you son of a bitch!
It's that time of year again.
Fuck you!
Medicare annual enrollment period. You might be thinking, why should I care? Well,
Donald Trump just triggers me.
On Medicare, you should. Because the annual enrollment period, which is right now, is when you can change your Medicare.
But that's just my opinion.
And the annual enrollment period ends December 7th. So ask yourself, do you have the coverage you need? Are you getting all the things you want and need from your Medicare plan? Maybe you don't even know what kinds of things are available to you. That happens. Medicare can be confusing.
I don't know how long I'll go live. You know, I'm just on my second cup of coffee. And right now I'm taking the Vitafusion Women's Multi. This right here. This is one of them that Walmart offered at a lower price for me because they were out of another vitamin that I wanted to take. But I got this one for the same price.
Or if there's a 2025 Medicare Advantage plan available to you in your zip code with additional benefits or cost savings you didn't get last year. We'll put that number back up on the screen. You can call this number
This is it.
free Medicare benefits.
I take all my vitamins in the morning, cuss out Donald Trump throughout the day, and we're good. We're good.
The Medicare annual enrollment
And I sleep like a baby at night when I'm voting for Kamala.
So call now. Even if you called before.
Keep it Kamala. Keep it Kamala. Don't stop it now. Don't stop it now. Don't stop it now. Don't stop it. Keep it Kamala. Keep it Kamala.
Yoo-hoo! You're making everything boring.
We're showing where consumer cellular gets great coverage. We use the same towers as big wireless, so you get the same coverage.
Wow.
For unlimited talk and text with reliable coverage starting at just $20. Call or visit consumer cellular.
If I would have had to put out a 30-second ad for Kamala Harris, it would have been beep, 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 beep. Let me.
That's a big deal, my friend. 360 degrees of superheated air gives you fast cooking. My 10-in-1 French door air fryer 360 grills, air fries, dehydrates, roasts, bakes, broils, proofs, slow frying rack and drip tray in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. Order now and you'll also get Emerald's Air Fryer Favorites recipe book. And we'll automatically upgrade you to our bonus cooking kit free. Plus, find out how you can get free shipping. This offer will not last, so call or click now to order.
I would say what else is going on these YouTube streets, but I'm not going to.
And you're sitting at the Thanksgiving table.
Imagine Donald Trump was elected president.
Now also imagine the Democrats have lost the Senate.
And that we've also lost our chance to change the Supreme Court.
And we've also lost the House, meaning there's no check on Donald Trump and his Project 2025 agenda.
You know this, Fiona. It's 2016 again. But it's worse.
I don't want to relive that feeling. I want to look back and say that I did everything I could
To elect Kamala Harris to protect our democracy.
And defeat MAGA extremism.
and also defeat Donald Trump for good.
That video is from the progressive political group Swing Left, which unleashed its super state strategy over the weekend, sending hundreds of volunteers on buses to crucial swing districts from Pennsylvania to California. And with just 8 days until Election Day, Swing Left's 1 million members have collectively mobilized to raise nearly $20 million and contacted more than 10 million voters to help Democrats win next Tuesday. Joining us now on behalf of Swing Left, 3 of the people you saw in that video, actors and political activists Kira Sedgwick and Adam Brody, and Swing Left Executive Director Yasmin Raji. Yasmin, I'll start with you. A lot getting done, as we can see. What are your plans for the final week before Election Day?
Yeah, with just 8 days left in an election that, as you all have talked about all morning, is basically tied, what we are making sure is that everybody from anywhere in the country who wants to get involved is not entering this election with any regret. It is going to come down to such close margins that we all remember in 2016 what it felt like to wonder, could I have knocked more doors? Could I have made more phone calls? Could I have donated just a few more dollars to help get us across the finish line? And so with Kira, with Adam, with Catherine Hahn in the video, and with our million members around the country, we are making sure that anybody who goes to swingleft.org can volunteer, can donate, not just in general, but in the districts that matter most, that are going to determine who is going to be president, whether we're going to have control of the Senate, the House, and of course, key state legislatures.
I have so many questions, Kira, just about this election, watching everything's play out at Madison Square Garden yesterday. And I just wonder why Trump Republicans and Trump supporters are betting against the health of women. What Trump has done is destroying health care for women in America, already has. The medical gains that we have before us are now not available to women in America. And it's not just women in their reproductive years or having babies, pregnancies that are problematic. Women of all ages need abortion health care for cancer and other medical conditions. So I don't really understand, like Speaker Mike Johnson on stage yesterday, trying to get around this abortion reality, making it a faith issue when it's not a faith issue.
It's reprehensible, it's disgusting, it's vulgar, and it's
forcing a young child
shocking.
to deliver their rapist's baby.
It's shocking, it's almost hard to look at and get your head around. But I think that we have to look, we have to not be afraid to look. And with our rage and fear and panic, we need to actually do something. And I think that it feels so good, especially right now, when you're sitting at home freaking out, to actually take an action. It is the antidote to despair. And there are so
helps with stress.
It totally does. And it also helps build a community. You're not alone. Everyone's freaking out, so do something. Go to swingleft.org, punch in your zip code. It's as easy as that, and you can find actionable things to do today.
So Adam, obviously you're a busy guy. Everyone else at this table is involved is as well. But you're out there, you've been going door to door. I know in Pennsylvania recently. Talk to us about what inspired you to do this, and then when you are doing the door knocking, what sort of responses are you getting?
Well, I mean, as Mika said earlier, the threat. I mean, we have so many problems. We have so many ways to tackle the issues of the day. But currently, we're under such a threat. I believe that Donald Trump and just a government of pathological lying leads to ruin for everyone, whatever your political is, wherever you stand on the issues, I promise you won't be happy in the end. And so I want to go. So that's why. What's the response? Well, it's really good, and it's as Kira was saying, it's a community, it's a support group. It's very heartening to meet other people that are like-minded and are out in the fight. And the other thing is, if you're knocking on doors at this point, you're knocking on Democrats or independents. It's a friendly audience, and most of the time you're getting a very positive response. And you wouldn't believe the amount of people that still, they're like, I'm gonna vote, yes, I'm a Democrat, I just haven't done it. Yeah, I'm gonna go on election day, and you can really talk them into doing it early, because if they wait till election day, anything can happen. They can be sick. There's a million reasons why they might not make it there. So it's a
Uber, Lyft.
warm response.
Asking people if they have a plan is such a great idea.
What kind of
What is your
plan?
plan? Let's talk about it.
How can I help you? What can you tell?
Right, exactly. Do you know where you're going?
We're closer in
Yep.
age, but you're cool. So I want you to
I bet we're closer in age, but you're cool.
young people. Because my message to young people is, we cannot do this for you or without you.
Right.
And
Yep.
we really need you to step up. Kira.
We spent some time over the weekend talking to Pennsylvania-based influencers, all of which were very young, and they feel very plugged into me, and they understand the skin that they have on the line, and it really is about a lot of people getting online and talking about why they're voting, the young people, because I think that that's where most of these people, we need them desperately, and it's their future.
Yes.
We're gonna be gone, we're gonna be dead in, a bit.
Right. Yasmin.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many things that have been inspiring about this campaign, but for us, we have seen so many first-time volunteers, people who have never participated, and that is a lot of people who were too young to participate, people who were college students getting on buses, going and knocking on doors for the first time, so that we win this election. But also, I mean, you know this, MAGA extremism is not going to go away. Even when Kamala Harris is president, when we've won the Senate, we've won the House, we need young people to be helping us win for the short term and the long term. And so we're just so excited they've been stepping up.
You can learn more at swingleft.org. Kira Sedgwick, Adam Brody, and Executive Director Yasmin Raji. Thank you all very much for coming on this morning. Coming up, Donald Trump says his plan for tariffs will be such an economic windfall, we won't even need income taxes. It's a proposal experts from both sides of the aisle dismiss as mathematically impossible and economically destructive. We'll dig into that with CNBC's Andrew Ross Sorkin and why billionaires are bending to Trump's will.
From the creators of Forrest Gump.
Everybody ready?
Tom Hanks.
Hey, Dad. Like you to meet Margaret.
Tom Hanks.
Sure does, Wanda.
And Tom Hanks.
Thank you for bringing us together.
Experience here in theaters Thursday. Rated PG-13.
Hi,
Tom Hanks
I'm here to help
movie.
you understand how to get the most from Medicare.
And it's gonna be a
For
classic.
Medicare, it's a good idea to have original Medicare. It gives you coverage for doctor office visits and hospital stays. But if you want even more benefits, you can choose a Medicare Advantage plan, like the ones offered at Humana. Our plans combine original Medicare with extra benefits in a single convenient plan with $0 or low monthly plan premiums. These plans could even include prescription drug coverage with $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions. Plus, there's a cap on your out-of-pocket costs. Most plans include dental, vision, even hearing coverage. There are $0 copays for in-network preventive services and much more. Get the most from Medicare with the Humana Medicare Advantage Plan. Call today to learn more. Remember, annual enrollment for Medicare Advantage plans ends December 7th. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
Meet Avocado's best-selling green mattress. Made with certified organic cotton, wool, and latex. Plus pocketed coils to support your body's natural curves for cool and restorative sleep. Featuring a 1-year in-home sleep trial. Complete your bedroom oasis with organic pillows and bedding. Shop today with Avocado Green, proud supporter of 1% for the planet.
Whether you're an active person that wants extra supplemental movement, maybe you want to keep your legs active while you work, or you wish to support your therapy at home, or you just want to build strength, increase your mobility, flexibility, and boost your circulation, Ellipse was made for you. Power-assisted exercise that frees your mind to enjoy your favorite seated activities. Just plug it in, place your feet, select your speed, and relax. Ellipse does all the work for you. Call now and order Ellipse.
Think you're too busy to sign up for life insurance? With Ethos, you can get life insurance faster than your son can find his own.
Okay,
We're talking
what's
same-day
up?
coverage, faster than your husband can iron his pants. With Ethos, you can get life insurance in less than 10 minutes. Check your price today at ethos.com.
News Nation Wednesday, a live News Nation special. It's time to have your final say on this year's race for the White House. Join me, Bill O'Reilly, and Stephen A. Smith, plus special guests Mark Cuban and RFK Jr. As we take questions from a live audience and questions on X for one big primetime event. We want to hear from you, America.
A live primetime event, Wednesday, 8 p.m. 7 Central, only on News Nation.
Skating for over 45 years has taken a toll on my body. I take Qunol turmeric because it helps with healthy joints and inflammation support. Why Qunol? It has superior absorption compared to regular turmeric. Qunol, the brand I trust.
What's causing the rise in book banning? On my podcast, Belshi Banned Book Club, I speak with authors of banned books to try and find out. Season 2 of Belshi Banned Book Club. All episodes available now.
Election season is always exciting for me because it has that possibility of beginning something new. And I think in this election, in particular,
Trying to think of what else to say,
expansion of the electorate, where you
because
have
I'm going on for
first-time
90
voters,
minutes.
new people coming into the fold who
And I'm
believe
drinking my
that
coffee
their vote
and
matters. That to me is an excitement that can carry through past this election.
here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Here I am. Got jokers to the left, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
We're serious about power? Yeah, sure. But why not? Because ready? Our country was the richest in the
And you trying to bankrupt us, son of a bitch!
Named McKinley. He was the tariff king. He spoke beautifully of tariffs. His language was really beautiful.
Fucking pussy!
The enemy to come in and take our jobs and take our factories and take our workers and take our families.
What did you do?
And the big price is tariffs. And he'd speak like that, but he was right.
Oh, I can't stand him.
In the 1900s, they switched over stupidly to, frankly, an income tax.
Well, speaking of stupidly, let me just give everybody a history lesson here. It gets tiresome, but you have to do it sometimes. To compare the United States' power economically in the 1880s to where we are in 2024 is just is insanity. It's like comparing a JV football team with the Kansas City Chiefs right now. The United States economically is more powerful relative to the rest of the world than at any time since World War II. We are the envy of the world. You can ask any leader of any other country, and they will tell you that in every department, the United States is just crushing the world, from business to markets to jobless rates to low inflation rates now to technology. There's just not
Stuck in the middle with you.
and also editor-at-large at Newsweek, Tom Rogers. Hey, so Andrew, billionaires that are supporting Donald Trump understand that his tax policy, his state of the campaign trail is just it's a fantasy. It's also financially ruinous, and they also understand that the disruption, that the threat to democracy is a threat to capitalism. And yet we saw a few billionaires kowtowing over the weekend, most dramatically to it. But let's start with Jeff Bezos. What's the reaction on Wall Street to that? What's your reaction?
You know, I think the reaction to that is the same kind of reaction that you've seen in the media space, which is to say, not necessarily that Jeff Bezos is supporting Donald Trump. I'm relatively confident that's unlikely to be the case. Having said that, I think that there's a complete move among CEOs, business leaders, and others who are now, at minimum, quote unquote, hedging their bets. And they're saying to themselves, you know what, if I can be in the line of fire or be out of the line of fire, I prefer to be out of the line of fire. I'm not saying that this is a great moment in history, Joe, when I say this, but I think that that is the perspective of those people that are taking that position.
You know, I mean, it is a national version of what happened with Ron DeSantis and Florida businesses on the run up when he was trying to court primary voters. You actually had CEOs petrified to cross Ron DeSantis because he went after Disney on the lead up. He went after the Tampa Bay Rays for just tweeting out their thoughts to the people of Uvalde. And so they completely ran because they were scared that he was going to use the power. Get this though. Hold on. A small government conservative using the power of the executive branch to solidify power and to crush businesses with whom he disagrees with politically. Is that what Bezos fears?
Well, I think there's I don't know what he fears. Look, what I wish, if the decision was in fact genuine, and I also think could possibly be possible, I know there are going to be skeptics about this, that it was a genuine view that the paper doesn't want to endorse anybody. That could actually be a view. I just wish that that really was the view, or if that was the view of the LA Times, they could have taken that view,
That's not the view.
12 months ago, or 2 years ago. I think that the timing of this, and given the fact that there is a candidate who is publicly attacking the media, by the way, makes it very difficult to ultimately make the decision that was made in this case.
Totally agree. Let me.
Yeah, so Tom, let's get you in on this, on the billionaire class hedging their bets, and other billionaires, Elon Musk, going all in. Let's remember, he was one of the speakers last night at this MSG rally.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I am somewhat disappointed with the CEO community here, who knows damn well that undermining democracy has a whole lot to do with the strength of our capital system and the economy. Clearly, Andrew's right, they're hedging their bets. I would expect, though, that if Trump were to lose and to pursue Big Lie, the sequel, that you will see CEOs jumping in to support election integrity and democracy, and we will hear stronger voices then.
And also, let's weigh in on what we just heard from Trump in that Joe Rogan interview. The idea of doing away with income taxes and replace it with tariffs. I mean, how nonsensical is this?
That was nonsensical, and Steve Ratner's done a great job on your broadcast over the past year talking just about how tariffs work. It doesn't make any sense, but if he were to ever go in this direction at all, it would be a complete rewrite of our tax code, of our economies in such sort of wild ways that the disruption, I can't
Which
even
makes the
fathom the
billionaire
disruption.
response that we're seeing all the more surprising. Tom, your piece, lawyers stand up and stand by for election day. Tell us about it.
Well, as I said, we're either going to see a Trump victory or we're going to see Big Lie, the sequel. And if it's Big Lie, the sequel, it is going to be based on all kinds of false voter fraud, immigrant who aren't citizens voting type claims that have been totally discredited. As Lisa Rubin said on your show on Friday, there have been 90 lawsuits filed by Republicans that are clearly.
I'm going to go ahead and let you go so I can cuss out my TV right now. So, y'all be good, y'all be swayed. And Trump, fuck you. Jules, go to hell. And fuck you too. Bye, y'all.
Their role in supporting election integrity. What this column is about, though, is the local